Hey y'all, welcome back to another video with Life with Chelsea for look, I done turned to the bold and beautiful. Let me scratch that out. General Hospital, May 9th, 2025. Now they said, let me know if it's true, y'all. They said that the Bold and Beautiful didn't air today because something about the Pope or something like that. I said, so does that mean that Beyond the Gates didn't air either? I said, now come on now. Come on now. All week long. We only seen what? How many episodes? 2 episodes for Beyond the Gates? Hold on. But yeah, okay. So where we gonna start? I guess with Brooklyn, Chase, and Alexis. So they was just having a meeting with Alexis because they wanted to know, first they told her that they wanted to adopt. Then they end up. Did I put the what you call on there? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, they was talking to her about adopting, and they wanted to know that if they would still be able to adopt because Brooklyn gave up her baby or whatever. She ended up telling them yes, they focus on the current, not on the past, so they will be able to adopt. Hold on. Do y'all think that once the truth, do y'all think they're gonna start? Well, they obviously already started the adoption process. I was about to say, do y'all think that they're going to change their mind about adopting once they find out that Gio is actually Brooklyn and Dante's child? Is they gonna get in the way of things, or do y'all think that they're gonna eventually work things out and still be able to adopt? But yeah, like I said, she ended up telling them that that wouldn't ruin their chances because they don't focus on the past, they focus on the present. Alexis ends up telling Brooklyn that she understands because she had gave up Sam or whatever, so she knows exactly how she feels. Um, what else happened with them? Let me read it. I already talked about that. I think that's everything that happened with them. Lulu, Danny, Rocco. So Danny ends up going to see Rocco, and that's when Lulu was like, before I allow you to see my son, we got to get some things straight. So she ends up questioning him, asking what happened. He ends up telling her, he's the one that convinced Rocco to go to the party or whatever. I want to know how Rocco found out that Dante was running around blaming everybody else. But yeah, excuse me. Yeah, Danny ends up telling her how everything went down, how he convinced Rocco it wasn't his idea. He didn't even want to go or whatever, and he ended up going to play volleyball or something like that. Wasn't what you call them playing volleyball too? Wasn't Josh and them playing volleyball, if I'm not mistaken? But yeah, said they ended up going to play volleyball and he left Rocco or whatever. So, like I said, he ended up apologizing and she ends up calling Rocco down, and that's when she had both of them cleaning up or whatever. Hold on, y'all. But yeah, I was trying to remember if Rocco was talking to Dante or if he was talking to Lulu. Cause Dante ended up showing up, and that's when Rocco told he had Danny go get some cleaning product from under the cabinet, but he was just trying to get him out the room. He ends up telling Dante that before he goes off on him or anything like that, nobody poured the alcohol down his throat. And that he's blaming everybody but him. I said that. I said, we've been saying that. Haven't we been saying that? I said, I ain't seen him say one thing to Rocco. He over here talking about some doggone what he said. I think he said, we'll talk about that later or whatever. Lord, the only one wanted to find out right then and there. But yeah, he was like, don't blame Danny. Don't blame Danny. It's my fault. I chose to drink or whatever. You run around blaming everybody. I said, exactly. We've been saying that. We've been saying that. I said, Rocco, that's right, Rocco. Take responsibility. But Dante did end up apologizing or whatever and telling them that it used to just be, it'll be different if it was just one child or whatever. But now since they brothers or whatever, if one do something, the other one got to pay for it too. I said, right on. I said, right on or whatever. I said, by time then Lois showed Lois. I said, Lois, you over here acting like who is that? Who is that? Sasha. She over here acting like Sasha. Because if you don't want somebody to know a secret, don't you supposed to stay away from them? Lois over here, she done came back over to Lulu's house. She was talking to Dante, still talking about Gio or whatever. And I said, at this point, you might as well just tell before Lulu tells. But yeah, she was talking to him. He was like, he apologized and everything for how he acted. And he was just scared, y'all. He was just scared. Hold on, did I write down Dante and Jason? Yeah, we're gonna do them next. Dante, Jason, Lois. So Dante told Jason by himself, and I gotta say, I agree. I agree. I gotta agree. But yeah, he ends up telling him. I think he told him yesterday he blames him more than he blames Danny, and he was telling him how basically he want to be his friend instead of being his parent. I said a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. But yeah, he was like telling him about himself, and I said I have to agree with him. It's about time I will say, we have been seeing Jason do better, way better than he used to do. Way better. I don't know if that's because Sam gone for right now. because I don't know if they're gonna bring her back or not. But yeah, I don't know if this is because of that or the fact that they just getting older or what. But he's been doing way better than he used to. But Jason was asking him, "Are you threatening to have him arrested for what did he say? Manslaughter, manslaughter, or whatever?" And and he was like, "No, he just trying to make you see. I'm just trying to make you see. It could get worse. It could have been worse." And I said, "He right though, because this isn't the first time Daddy did that, and I understand why he wouldn't want his child to be around then if he steady getting into stuff." And then gonna drag him into it, whatever. But Rocco did take accountability, y'all. And Danny did too. But Lois ended up coming in after Dante left. I think he was like, he told Lois, so he was saying, I was just letting Jason know what I think of him as a father, which isn't much. I said, ooh, ooh. And then some people were saying, um, they write about Jason, or Dante's right about Jason because he wasn't watching Dante. But then they said, well, the same could be said about Dante because he wasn't watching Rocco either. I said, facts. Facts. They run around over here, Jason running behind Sonny and them. And I think he told Lois that. And Dante running around over here with Lulu. And I said, how you over here with where Rocco be at? And y'all still didn't pay them no mind. But yeah, Lois ends up trying to just talk to Jason and let him know that Dante just heard about Rocco and stuff like that. He didn't mean no harm. But Jason was like, I don't even think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong. He's right or whatever. And he did say he has to make some changes. So him and Sonny supposed to be talking. Look like Sonny actually gonna sell the Pierce to Sewell. Do y'all think he is? Let me know down below. Hold on. I too agree with Dante. Jason can do way better than he used to. Lois was just letting Jason know what she thought of him as father. Said he's a great father. Yep, true, true, true. Yeah, she was telling him. She was like, "You're a great father, whatever." And she told him, um, Rocco be following Danny around and stuff. And he was like, "I didn't even know that." I said, "How you don't know?" He do be following him around and stuff. But yeah, Sasha and Willow, and this is what I'm talking about right here. Because if you know doggone well, how you gonna sit up here and tell Willow about not allowing Michael to see his kids, and you carrying his child? You told him you don't want him to see. You don't want you the same way. What you talking about? I said, if you don't want somebody to know the secret, shut up. Be quiet. They always do that stuff. Then when they start to get suspicious, they be like, oh, try to hide it, whatever. It's too little, too late. But yeah, Sasha and Willow, she had another doctor's appointment. I said, is she gonna have that baby tomorrow? Look, her belly out there now. I said, by next week, she gonna have the baby. But yeah, she had a doctor's appointment. Willow came in. I think she said she had to check her vitals. She had to do something, and she was like, no, she'd rather have another nurse or whatever. And Willow was telling her, for the sake of the kids, I'm the mother of Michael's kids, and you the mother of Jason's kids, so we gonna be connected, we family or whatever. Sasha's like, I don't care nothing about that. You over here trying to keep Michael away from his kid. I said, girl, you pregnant with his child, not letting him see her. Him. Is it a girl or boy? Did they say? I don't think they said. But yeah, I said, Sasha, you might want to ease up. You might want to, but it's only a matter of time for that secret come out. Y'all know I always say that. But yeah, that's what she was telling her about. But Willow got mad. She was like, because I think Sasha started talking about Drew and how can you stand beside him? And she was like, he was poisoned or whatever. He ain't do it by himself. She was like, only you believe it. I said, you telling the truth in this case. And speaking of Drew, I got a question. Yesterday's episode, Brad the one gave Drew whatever that was. What was that? Was that evidence against Portia, or was that something he finna use against somebody else? But yeah, it was something. He was like, "Oh, it's just a vitamin." I said, "He finna do something crazy too." I said, "Everybody going to jail." I don't know. I don't know if that was proof of what Portia did. Because wouldn't he tell? No, he wouldn't. Let me answer my own question. He would not tell. But yeah, he just told her. I think she hugged him, and that's when she felt something, and she went in his pocket. What's that? Oh, I got a notification. Hold on. I got another one too, dog. But yeah, she went in his pocket and she was like, "What is this?" He was like, "Oh, that's just a vitamin because they trying to get his what did he say? Something to get his immune system back in order, or whatever he said. A load of baloney. That's what he said." But yeah, and I said, everybody just go to jail, go to jail. Then Portia, do y'all think she's gonna tell Curtis on Monday's episode what's going on? No. I said, I feel like she should have been told him, and she definitely should tell now. Because what if he finna use that on Curtis or somebody? Whatever he got, I don't know what it was, but it was something. I know it wasn't no vitamin. The way they played that ominous music or whatever, something finna happen. But yeah, Curtis and Tracy, he was just talking to Tracy about supporting Boyle and Drew. or whatever, and she just kept talking about taking down Sonny. And he was like, "We don't even know Sitwell. We don't know what he has planned." And I said, "I keep saying the same thing. This man finna do some damage. He over here offering a whole lot of money. I don't even know the amount, but he said a whole lot of money for the peers." And I said, "Okay, he finna do something major. Hold on." But yeah, I said he finna get ready to do something major. But she didn't want to hear that. She just kept talking about Sonny and all these years he done caused all this trouble and stuff like that. Ned ends up showing up, and she wanted Ned to back her in regards to Sonny. I think he told Lulu something about he's gonna vote in favor of, getting Sonny up out of there, but he's also gonna vote for Laura. So it's gonna be a split vote or whatever it's called. Um, what else happened with Curtis? I think he ended up leaving, and that's when he went to Portia. Might as well get her out the way. He went to Portia or whatever, and he was talking about Willow, because Willow stopped her and she was thanking him for not, talking about you and stuff like that. And he was like, he was just presenting the facts. So she wanted him to write an article speaking of Drew's innocence, and he was like, no, he didn't want to do that or whatever. Meanwhile, Drew trying to get Portia to talk to Curtis, not talk to, but convince Curtis to do that and help him drive Sonny out of town or whatever. I said, Drew, sit down somewhere. I said, sit down, because everybody finna find you out, especially since Sasha went told Jason that Willow went to see Michael or whatever, because more than likely he gonna talk to Michael and ask, and he gonna reveal that it didn't happen. But I don't know. I still think that they delaying everything so that whoever, whether it's the Chad or somebody else playing Michael, to return. We'll see. I think they said Chad was working on another project. I don't know if that means he not coming back or what, but that's what they said. Um, I don't think I wrote down. Yeah, I did. Drew and Portia. Like I said, he wanted her to convince Curtis to write another article or something, and as well as back Boyle too. And I said he already said he support Laura, and she was trying to convince him that he's not going to, go against Laura or whatever. So if Sonny does decide to pull out of the whole situation, do y'all think they're gonna drop the whole Laura thing or not? I doubt it, but we'll see. Um, let's see. Drew and Curtis, not Drew and Curtis. What's the name? Portia and Curtis. He ended up talking to her about it or whatever. She was trying to she's saying the complete opposite of what he's saying. And he's supposed to be asking her on Monday's episode why she pushing this so hard. And she's saying because she has to. I said, go on. You going to jail either way you go. Go on, tell the truth. But I really want them to wait to reveal what Portia did so that Heather can find out she can come back. Which I said, want the crazy lady to come back. Yeah, because she made the crazy people always make the show interesting. Just like Sitwell. Whatever. Well, he ain't crazy. He just dangerous. Maybe he crazy and dangerous. I don't know. But yeah, they do make the show interesting. Just like, what's her name? The crazy lady with all the weeds on Beyond the Gates. Dana, Leslie, whatever her name is. But yeah, let's see. Sonny, Sewell, Jordan, they had a meeting. They showed up in Sonny Place or whatever. He was offering to buy both peers or whatever. And first Sonny was questioning him and stuff like that about why would he do that. And he just trying to make it seem like, oh, it'll be good for both of us. That way, I take that back. Jordan was the one trying to make it seem like if you pull out and take this deal, then all the heat will be off of Laura. I doubt it. They aiming for her. Drew already said he want Boyle to be the mayor or whatever so that he can come to him and have him doing whatever he want him to do. But yeah, then Sonny, I'm confused now. Did they say the surgery was going? I said that every review, don't I? I'll be like, I'm confused. I do be confused though, because didn't they say? I thought they said when he had the surgery, he'll be okay. But they did say yesterday, Isaiah said he had to take it easy. But yeah, he started to have pains in his heart again. And I was like, wait a minute now. Now, either he got to take time to recover or something else going on. Then see over here like, Mr. Crinthros, are you okay? I said, sit down. You don't care. You probably over here got something to do with it. Probably done did something. Who knows? Maybe you Isaiah in cahoots together. But yeah, then Sonny just was like, I'm just bored. I said, Sonny, he already know what's going on. He already know what's going on because Natalia don't told. But yeah, I was like, he already know. But yeah, he's like, I'm just bored of this or whatever. So Jason ended up coming at the end of the episode and he was asking if he actually gonna take the deal. And he's telling him on Monday's episode, this is what we talked about. it'll be better for or safer for both our families. I said, I highly doubt it. I said, maybe y'all can find another way because this is not it. This is not it. See, well, I don't know what he finna do, but we all know he finna do something. Um, who else we got? Sasha and Jason. She was just saying, she talked to Willow, and Willow said, what did she say before that? Did I write it down? She talked to Willow, and she said she went to see Michael, and he went to see her or whatever, and he revealed that he's the one that convinced her to go there in the first place. And so I'm like, okay, she must gonna have a problem with it. I said, what's the difference? You won't stay at the girl face? Well, technically she came to you or whatever, but at the same time, you keep confronting her. How you gonna confront? You slept with her husband. You shouldn't be on no type of horse. You know how they say, get off your high horse. She shouldn't be on no type of horse. I said, look, Lulu and Ned. Lulu's slick. Lulu is slick. She need to be a journalist or whatever they call them people for real, a reporter or whatever. Because the first she was talking to Ned, she was just asking him, what was they talking about at first? What was they talking about? Hold on, y'all. I think she was talking to him about her mama and stuff like that. And that's when he said he wanted to do the split vote. He was gonna vote for Laura for mayor, but he was gonna vote against Sonny keeping the peers or whatever. Then she started asking about Brooklyn and Lois and them being on the road and just questioning him because he don't know what's going on. Then Tracy popped up and Tracy was like, what are you up to? I said, Lulu's slick. She's slick. And I think she's supposed to be asking her to stop writing the article. I want to know if Lulu's gonna tell her that Dante is the father of the baby. But yeah, she's probably talking to her, asking her to stop, writing an article or whatever. Who else we got? I already said Willow and Curtis. She wanted him to write the articles, clearing Drew and stuff like that. And he was like, he ain't gonna do that. Sonny and Jason, we already talked about them. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yep, that's it. That's all. Let me know your thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day, a great weekend, and be safe.